Hello there, thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and here's a fun folk music piece from the fall of 1962 from New York City. Now for me, the cachet to this poster is that it's the earliest full-size concert poster I've ever seen with Bob Dylan on it. Spelled correctly, that is. Now I've already blogged an spring 1962 concert poster from the University of Michigan Folk Festival where Dylan is spelled D-I-L-L-O-N. He was so unknown. But this one has his name spelled correctly. I'll go ahead and zoom in and show you right there. It is the top name. And this is a full-sized 14 by 22 inch cardboard window card made by the Murray Poster Printing Company right there in New York City. Now for many years us Dylan collectors had seen only a much smaller paper handbill version of this, sort of blue ink on white paper. Matter of fact, I have not the handbill but a picture of one to show you here. Yeah, and it's smaller actually than this printout I made just so you could see it easily. But it's really nice to get the full-size cardboard version. All the information, by the way, on the two pieces is absolutely identical. So interestingly, this was Bob at the exact midway point between his first two albums. Bob Dylan had come out about 6 or 7 months ago, and the Freewheelin' would come out about 6 months hence. And his repertoire this very night reflected that. He did one song from the first album, 2 from the second album, and he even did one from his third album. So, as its name suggests, the Traveling Hootenanny, this was, sort of planned as an ongoing series of shows, but by almost all accounts, the other ones never materialized. Now, it does say at the top in very fine print, the Folklore Center presents, and, if you know your Dylan Greenwich Village history, that very much means Izzy Young and his Folklore Center, a mecca of sorts for folk musicians at the time. And you've got that big headline, The Traveling Hootenanny. So let's come in for a closer look at the words under that. There's the description of the night in smaller print. A special kind of hootenanny will take place on the stage. In addition to the regular program of distinguished folk artists, members of the audience will be selected to perform. Bring your guitars and banjos. So, that's rather quaint and fun, but that's what hootenannies were all about, plain and simple. So, as I've shown you when I zoomed in before, Dylan's name is on top, so, some reports say that Dylan headlined this, but it was really more of a democratic gathering, and they had to list them in some order, right? I mean, if anything, bluesman John Lee Hooker had by far the most credibility. Gosh, he had #1 records in the 1950s and 40s. I mean, Dylan would cringe to think that, maybe he did when he saw this poster with his name above John Lee's. So as far as the repertoire, Dylan may have done a traditional song or two, but he definitely did 4 originals, the ones that I was alluding to earlier. And it's kind of funny, you could stretch and say he did one song from each of his first 4 LP releases. Okay, so stay with me for a second. He did Talkin' New York from the first album, Talkin' John Birch Society Blues, or whatever name you want to call it, from the original Freewheelin' Bob Dylan from early '63, quickly withdrawn. Then he did A Hard Rain's A-Gonna Fall from the final version of the Freewheelin', which came out a couple of months later, and I know it was on the original version too. And then he did Ballad of Hollis Brown from The Times They Are A-Changing, his third album. So, man, you just wish you could go back in time and see that, don't you? But what a fun piece, man. It's just great to have a vintage concert poster from the very month that Bob Dylan went electric. Isn't that cool? Scratching your head? You want me to repeat that? A concert poster from the month that Dylan went electric. No, I'm not talking about Newport Folk Festival in July of '65. The real hardcore fans probably know what I mean, but in late October 1962, this very month, Dylan went into a Columbia Records studio with 5 musicians and attempted to cut a rollicking new single, Mixed Up Confusion. Well, he didn't succeed on that day, but he did record the final version of Carina Carina for the Freewheelin', and if you listen, it's got the musicians backing him up. Got you on that one, I hope. Okay, so not to give them short shrift, the other 5 musicians here, Ian and Sylvia from Canada, eventually getting married. Dylan's fellow Rock and Roll Hall of Fame member, John Lee Hooker. Now remember, Dylan had opened for the Hook, right? In April of 1961, a year and a half before this, at Gertie's Folk City, so the relationship was probably intact already. And then you've got Judy Collins, Lynn Gold, and Sandy Bull. Fine musicians all, but I don't have time in this blog to go into them. And then you've got for a graphic this, fun drawing of an acoustic guitar on like an old horse-drawn cart or something. And there's a little tiny artistic credit that says Pushpin. So that was the outfit that designed it and put it together. And then you've got, as you can see, those bold black words. It does say Town Hall, Friday, October 5th, 8:30. Tickets $1.75, $2.50, and $3. And then it explains in smaller print that tickets were available at the Folklore Center and at Town Hall with their addresses and phone numbers. Kind of interesting the way Murray had this big blank white area down at the bottom. It sort of looks like this was designed to be a tour blank, but if so, why did they do the Town Hall info just crammed up against the wheels? Why didn't they expand it? I don't know, it looks good, it's a nice design, I like it, but you got to think if this was used as a tour blank, that white area probably would have been filled more conventionally going forward. So there's no pictures on this poster, just that cute little graphic. So, as for what Bob looked like at this very moment, well, conveniently, he actually graced the cover of Sing Out magazine this very month. And if you're a fan or collector, you've certainly seen this, the October-November 1962 issue of Sing Out, and there he is with cigarette and acoustic guitar. You gotta wonder how Sing Out would feel if they knew that their cover boy was already hooking up with a full band in the studio this very month. Maybe that headline, would they have put Sell Out instead of Sing Out? I don't know, but curb the humor, Pete, it doesn't work. So, besides, Dylan still had 3 great solo acoustic albums coming up before he did finally plug in January of 1965 in the studio. Well, early fun folky piece from Dylan, Greenwich Village, and the Traveling Hootenanny. Really fun to show you. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and we'll see you again for something soon. Bye-bye.